As part of a bigger effort to make my kitchen more organized, I'm building a custom drawer organizer for our coffee corner. In this video, I will take you through the entire process from planning to finishing. I'm still super new to woodworking. This is actually my second project. If you have any tips or advice, I would love to hear them. We bought this automatic coffee machine last year, and it has been a great addition to our daily routine. Both my husband and I use it every day, and we love it. But over time, our coffee supply started piling up and spreading all over the place. To keep my coffee corner more organized, I decided to use this drawer to store all my coffee and tea essentials in one place. I spent a long time searching for the perfect organizer, but everything I found was either the wrong size or didn't quite fit my needs. So I decided to make my own. I created a 3D model in SketchUp of the perfect organizer I had in mind. And this helped me map out all the pieces I would need to build it. I wanted each panel to be thin yet stable, so I picked up a sheet of 1/4-inch plywood from Home Depot. First, I'm going to cut all the pieces to the right height. All the vertical pieces will be 14 3/8 inches long, which is shorter than the width of this board. So I marked along the long side of the sheet, spacing each mark 2 3/8 inches apart, which is the exact height of the drawer. Then, time to cut. I only have a circular saw, but this guide track makes it easy to cut straight lines. The only downside is that it sometimes limits where I can place clamps. For the two number 1 horizontal pieces, I had to rely on my human clamp to hold the board down since I couldn't find a way to clamp it without blocking the guide track. I cut a few extra pieces just in case I mess up. Now I'm marking all my cuts on the boards, though later I realized it wasn't all that useful. But it did help me translate my 3D plan onto the actual wood. I numbered my boards to stay organized and finished marking the rest. Now I'm cutting all the pieces to the right length. I tried using a piece of 2x4 as a guide to make a straight cut, but it didn't work. It shifted, and the cut didn't line up perfectly with the mark. After several attempts, I found a process that works for me to make precise cuts with a circular saw. Before cutting, I bring up my circular saw to check that the outside of the blade lines up exactly with my cut line. I adjust the rafter square as needed, then I make the cut. Now I'm trying to figure out the best way to cut a perfect trench for the half-lap joint. My goal is to create a jig that helps standardize the cutting process, ensuring all the cuts are consistent. The gap width needs to be just slightly narrower than the thickness of the board so that it holds in place securely. After 4 failed attempts, I finally made a perfectly sized trench that securely holds the other piece in place. The perfect trench is 2 blade width plus the thickness of an L-shaped bracket I found in my garage. After making the first cut along the marked line, I need to place the L-shaped bracket as a spacer, then make the second cut. That's how I was able to make the perfect trench. Now that I have found a way to standardize my cuts, it's time to make all the half-lap joint trenches. After figuring out my cut process, I realized I only need to mark my first cut line instead of the whole trench. To ensure all the trenches lined up perfectly, I grouped the boards with the same trench together. After making 3 trenches, I tested them out. The boards fit snugly and can hold together on their own without glue. After finishing all the trenches, I moved on to cutting the half-lap joints at the ends. Unlike the middle trenches, the half-lap joints at the ends needs to be slightly wider to give the glue more surface area to bond securely. So here, I adjusted my process a bit to make those cuts wider. Then I moved on to making 3 short horizontal pieces. These pieces needs to match the number 1 board. To ensure they match perfectly, I used the number 1 board as a guide to mark my cuts. Then repeat the process of cutting trenches and ends. Now that all my boards are ready, I'm moving on to sanding. I tested all the joints. They hold together pretty well, but there are some imperfections that need sanding. Lastly, I rolled out my workbench and used 220 grit sandpaper to smooth all the surfaces. After all that, I assembled all the pieces and used super glue to secure the joints. Lastly, I spray painted the organizer in a beautiful shade of green. I let it dry outside for a week to get rid of the paint smell. Then it was finally time for the moment of truth. To be honest, it turned out much better than I thought it would. It's definitely not perfect. I learned a lot, but I'm just glad it worked in the end. One big lesson? Cutting without a vacuum, especially in a packed garage, was probably not the best idea. Now I have to figure out how to clean up all the sawdust. If you have any woodworking tips, I would love to hear them. Feel free to leave a comment below. Building this custom organizer is part of a bigger effort to make my small kitchen more organized. If you're interested in following along, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. Thanks so much for watching and see you soon.